Roger, Daily Mail now. Andrew Tate, is he a symptom of asymmetrical schooling?
Now, this is quite interesting. This is an interview. I don't quite understand how this happens, but the Daily Mail is reporting on an interview with Mark Brooks, co-founder of the Men and Boys Coalition, in an interview he's done with The Times, which is a strange cross-dissemination, where he makes a couple of very reasonable points about how young boys are thrown towards or tempted by the toxic masculinity of Andrew Tate, who's obviously vile in all sorts of ways, because they are not nurtured or given an opportunity adequately to exercise those demons in the school environment, which has become so feminised in this day and age, which clearly doesn't serve boys adequately. That's why they're so far behind in examinations. They're outperformed massively by girls and are told constantly, of course, that, like some sort of original sin, they're capable of toxic masculinity and potential rapists, every last one of them. And so it's totally understandable that they start playing with knives and getting tempted by the social media nonsense put out by vile people like Andrew Tate.
I mean, he does. He presents the opportunity for them to become superheroes, essentially, doesn't he? Or sort of quite out, like, kind of graphic novel hero figures.
And boys have always loved outsiders. They've always, this is why rap is popular, even though it's musically horrendous. It's popular.
Controlled by massive corporations.
Absolutely.
And it's refreshing.
Notwithstanding that.
It's refreshing to see somebody like Andrew Tate. Not that I agree with all of the things he says and does, but I mean, he's come on. He's just completely rejected all this stuff of like, oh, you must put your foot and walk on eggshells, and you know all the rest of it. It's you know, so he's like, yeah, you can. You know what? You can just be a man. You can just be a man. And
I don't know.
He's right.
I feel ambivalent about it. I mean, I totally accept what this fella is saying and what Roger's just said. I've watched some of his content, and I think some of it, he makes some interesting points, and some of it, he is just obviously being theatrically, almost pantomimically misogynist and absurd. But I think it's quite interesting. My son is 15. He watched some Andrew Tate, went in and out the other side very quickly, sort of 2 or 3 weeks of thinking it was funny, and then was bored and sort of moved on. I think most kids, you're right, I like to think he's in a reasonable family and a good school, you know. But you can imagine if a kid was, as you say, feeling deprived of a father figure, how you would latch on to somebody like that. It's kind of the role that Jordan Peterson played a few years ago, but that was a lot more intellectually demanding, whereas Tate just sits there with his shirt off and a Maserati revving up in the background.
And kids are quite capable, I think, of exploring this and enjoying it slightly ironically. I don't think they're necessarily followers in the way that liberals fear.